Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 10th of November. Amid surgical crackdown on black money, Indians throng banks to collect new currency. Green-eyed Afghan girl meets President Ghani, offered furnished apartment. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday began his 3-day state visit to Japan. He will be engaging in consolidation India-Japan ties in the field of trade, investment, security and strategic affairs.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a 3-day visit to Japan, where he will attend the annual meeting with his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe. The summit will be an opportunity for India and Japan to review their bilateral cooperation. During the Prime Minister's visit, India is likely to sign civil nuclear agreement with Japan, which will facilitate leading US-based atomic companies to set up plants in India. The two nations will also further cooperation in the railway sector, as Prime Minister Modi will visit the Kawasaki Heavy Industries facility in Kobe, where the high-speed trains are manufactured. Both the sides are also expected to discuss on defence partnership, including joint maritime exercise between India, Japan and US. This is Prime Minister Modi's second visit to Japan after assuming office in 2014, when he will also call on Japanese Emperor Akihito.
The National Green Tribunal or NGT of India slammed the federal and provincial governments of Rajasthan, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana over non-compliance and inaction to tackle air pollution. The NGT on Thursday proposed to expand the scope of diesel vehicle ban, which is enforced in Delhi, to the 4 provinces. The tribunal also directed the governments to declare emergency if the particulate matter or PM 2.5 and 10 reaches an excess to 500 and 300 micrograms, respectively. The NGT order came just hours before the Supreme Court was scheduled to hear the federal and provincial governments, which were asked to prepare a common and comprehensive plan to tackle air pollution.
ट्वेंटी5 नवंबर को ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आगे ये रिपोर्ट दो कि आपने अभी तक कौन कौन से कंक्रीट स्टेप्स किए हैं, प्लान किए हैं, ताकि दिल्ली के पोल्यूशन को इमीडिएटली कंट्रोल किया जा सके.
Moving on to news from Afghanistan. The famous green-eyed Afghan girl Sharbat Gula, who graced the cover of National Geographic in 1985, becoming the symbol of her country's wars, was welcomed home by Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani. Gula had been living in Pakistan's northwestern city of Peshawar for years with her children.
Sharbat Gula, who became a symbol of her country's war, met President Ashraf Ghani after she was deported by Pakistan on Wednesday. Pakistan security officials escorted Gula overnight from a Peshawar hospital, where she had been staying since her arrest last month for living illegally in Pakistan. She was handed over to Afghan authorities at the Torkham border. Upon her arrival to Afghanistan, President Ashraf Ghani promised to provide Gula with a furnished apartment.
It's a privilege for me to welcome her. The government of Afghanistan is giving her an apartment, fully furnished, and we are proud to see that she lives with dignity and with security in her homeland. I've said repeatedly, and I'd like to repeat it again, our country is incomplete until we've absorbed all our refugees.
The image became a symbol of Afghanistan's suffering during the 1980 Soviet occupation. Gula's deportation come amid Pakistani pressure to send 2.5 million Afghan refugees back home, even though Afghanistan is facing a bloody Taliban insurgency struggling to look after so many returnees.
Staying on to news from Afghanistan, a new report by the United Nations revealed that nearly 500,000 Afghans have been displaced due to a surge in violence. Islamabad, which announced new repatriation plans last year, has stepped up pressure to send all Afghan refugees out of the country by December 2016. This has added to the crisis in the war-ravaged country. A report.
A recent report by the United Nations indicates that nearly 500,000 Afghans have been displaced in the past 10 months due to the recent surge in violence. It also highlights that the majority of those displaced are from war-hit regions such as Kunduz, Uruzgan, Helmand and Faryab provinces. In addition, many are dealing with food shortages. Most of the displaced people are seeking refuge in capital Kabul. Concerns have also been raised by people as chilly winter fast approaches and people struggle to find shelter. Afghanistan's Ministry of Refugees and Repatriations has confirmed that only half of the internally displaced families have been given the humanitarian assistance. In recent months, there has been an influx of refugees returning from Pakistan.
A day after Indian government's sudden withdrawal of 500 and 1,000 rupee notes from circulation in a bid to flush out black money, banks across India reopened to a massive rush on Thursday. Anxious Indians dashed to banks to deposit defunct currency notes and collect new ones.
Anxious Indians on Thursday rushed to banks across the country to deposit defunct currency notes and collect new ones. Long serpentine queues were witnessed outside banks of all towns and cities as people jostled to get lower denomination currency for their daily basic needs and also get their hands on the brand new 2,000 rupee notes. As the fresh notes began to see the light of the day, people were seen waiting for their turn to lay hands on them.
At last I could deposit my money and it's a very good time because I could deposit my old notes and now I am standing in order to withdraw some amount of money. I don't know when it will be possible.
The jump in the footfall in the banks was a result of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's announcement to demonetize 500 and 1,000 rupee notes from circulation in a bid to battle corruption. Economic Affairs Secretary Shaktikant Das said that the 2,000 rupee note was introduced keeping in mind the convenience of people and the inflationary pressures.
The Reserve Bank of India is going to monitor and release monitor and regulate the release of 2,000 rupee notes, and in the due course in the next few months, the 1,000 rupee notes will also be brought into the market with a completely new design and new dimension, new design, new color combination, which will look distinctly different from the old one.
Fearing the declaration, piles of burnt banknotes were found in India's northern Bareilly city. The notes were shredded and then set on fire. Police personnel have collected samples from the site, which will be sent for verification.
Moving on to news from Sri Lanka. Wildlife authorities rescued a giant crocodile, one of the most massive to be ever seen in Sri Lanka, which got stuck in a flooded canal. The crocodile was so large that the rescuers had to use a tractor to push it back to the river.
The Sri Lankan Wildlife Department officials this week rescued one of the largest crocodiles ever seen on the island. The crocodile got stuck in a canal while looking for food, locals said. The giant reptile found in the southern city of Matara measured almost 17 feet long and weighed almost a ton. The wildlife authorities had to use a digger to move the massive croc on after it became lodged in the city's water system due to heavy rain.
ඉතින් ඒ මොහොතේ සිටන් අපිට ප්‍රදේශවාසීන් සහ පොලිස් නිලධාරීන් ඇතුළු කාගෙත් සහාය ඇතුව අපිට උවමනා වුණේ කිඹුලාට කිසිම හානියක් නොකර නිරුපද්දතිව ආපහු ගේ වාසභූමිය වෙත මුදා හරින්න. මොකද ප්‍රමාණයෙන් ලොකු සතෙක් හින්දාත් අපිට වෙන අපේ ජාතික උද්‍යානයට ප්‍රවාහණය කිරීමේ අපහසුතාවයක් තිබුණා.
The crocodile was released back to the river after much struggle.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Amid surgical crackdown on black money, Indians throng banks to collect new currency. Green-eyed Afghan girl meets President Ghani, offered furnished apartment. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.